Today we're going to be talking about a DIMIR control deck, and today's deck is very interesting because every single card aside from one in our deck consists of an instant speed or flash mechanic, and there's a very specific reason for that. Is because our one spell that's not flash or instant speed is going to be the build around here. We're talking about the Academy Lore Master. If you guys don't know, this is a creature coming in for 2 mana, and every single turn on your opponent's turn and your own turn, you both get the option to take an extra card on your upkeep. If you do so, you're going to be taxed an extra 2 mana on whenever you whatever spells you decide to play that turn, which is why it's so important to have all instant speed and flash cards in our deck, because the idea is to draw that extra card every turn, pass the turn, and we're not going to be affected by that additional cost because all of our spells are going to be played on the opponent's turn, which is really nice. And we have 2 additional win cons here. We have the Fairy Vandal and the Hullbreaker Horror. Obviously, Hullbreaker Horror goes without saying, a very powerful card that can end a game. But the Fairy Vandal is a good choice here because the Lore Master is going to be drawing us all those extra cards, so the Fairy Vandal is going to be growing at a rapid pace. Now, the rest of the deck consists of just some great, a plethora of control spells that DIMIR, DIMIR does that the best, right? They offer the best sort of control spells, so we're going to throw a couple up here on the screen, but the deck is very competitive. I enjoyed it very much, and I think Lore Master is an absolute beast of a card. I think you guys are going to enjoy today's video, but before we get into the gameplay footage, there will be a full deck breakdown at the end of today's video, so stick around for that. And in the meantime, there's a deck list down below in the descriptions, and if you guys enjoy content just like this, if you wouldn't mind giving the video a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, it helps out an absolute ton. I'd greatly appreciate it. With that being said though, guys, enjoy today's video. Peace. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're kicking things off with a DIMIR Flash tribal deck. This thing is really cool. We've got the Academy Lore Master, and it's such a great card, man. It allows us to basically draw cards every single turn with no downside to us. Obviously, it makes things more expensive for both our opponent and ourselves to play cards, but what's great about it is that every single card in our deck is instant speed or some sort of flash mechanics. So we just pass the turn every time, and we play all of our spells on our opponent's turn, and you got yourself a pretty disgusting combo. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm really excited about it, but the opponents are probably not going to be very excited about it, though. All right, let's go ahead and play out a blue source because we got a lot of blue creatures and spells to cast. Pass the turn here. This thing has Death Touch, which is a bit annoying, but I do have a Fairy Vandal here in hand, which can get really crazy when paired with the Lore Masters. So that will probably be the play here. Yeah, it's definitely going to be the play. All right, they do throw down a Shakedown Heavy. They've got a pretty good start here. I mean, they've got a couple creatures I can't really answer or deal with at the moment. Essence Scatter, where were you a moment ago? All right, that's fine. And we'll play this. And do we attack over the top, or do we leave back the Fairy Vandal for blocks? Probably go over the top. I'm not going to end up blocking with it, so pass the turn here. Essence Scatter looking pretty solid. I don't know if I'm going to need that or the negate, because this could be a fight rigging deck for sure. We're going to allow them to draw cards, though. Normally, I don't like doing that, but when it comes to card advantage, we should be fine. We'll take the 2. It is what it is. And we'll look to probably Thirst for Discovery if they have no place here. Infernal Grasp. No, thank you. No, thank you. But that does mean that if they find now their fight rigging, I did just concede my negate, which is pretty unfortunate. All right, we passed the turn. Oh, wait, actually, we attack. I'm sorry. We almost forgot to attack there. Get that in there. We're going to keep giving them the cards with the Shakedown Heavy. That's not a problem. They're clearly hurting for land right now, which is pretty good for us. And they do take the extra card with the Lore Master, which means that they have to spend more mana for every one of their spells. They were really hurting for that land drop, apparently, so they should have waited. I would have given them this extra card with the Shakedown Heavy, especially now that they have to discard the hand size. All right, we're going to take the 2. It's all good. The Academy Lore Master's too good to, trade off here with anything, so not that it could anyways. All right, let's see if we can save this. Unfortunately, we cannot save it. That's a bummer. All right, keep the cards coming here. Let's go blue source. No attacks. End our turn. We do have to discard the hand size as well. We do have answers for everything here though now. So we have both the negate, the essence scatter, which is really helpful, and you know, a lot of really great tools here. So not going to be too much of an issue. Giving them an extra land here is not the end of the world. Could we do better though? I think it's a fine negate. I'm sorry, an essence scatter. Here's what we're gonna do. We're actually going to allow the shakedown heavy to get through this time, and we're gonna kill it with the Urtai. All right, so the Urtai is going to come in. We're going to make the ultimate sacrifice here. We're going to kill the shakedown heavy, and we're going to block the adversary, which finally stops that bleeding essentially that we've been feeling with the adversary getting through every turn. And hopefully that should open the door now for... Okay, I'm really surprised that they decide to kill that though over the Lore Master. The Lore Master is really what's beating them up here. Surprised that they don't feel that. All right, and we end our turn, of course. It's a slow bleed, but we're getting them dead, man. It's just not exactly the greatest matchup for us, if I'm being honest, just because it's a lot of creatures every single turn that we have to deal with. We do have answers for them, obviously, but we haven't seen a single Infernal Grasp. We haven't seen any of our, you know, the spells we'd like to be seeing here. We allow this to get through again? Yeah, I think so. Let's first play the Fairy Vandal out though, and then see what the Thirst hits us. All right, a little Urtai, huh? No blocks. We do find ourselves a Hullbreaker Horror, which should be the nail in the coffin, I would imagine. That should just about do it. Pass the turn. Oh, I didn't attack over the top. Whoops, that was my bad. I completely missed an attack step there. I get so used to passing the turn with the Lore Master on the field that I forgot I threw the Fairy Vandal down that last turn. Wow. Can't believe we missed that. That was a bummer. All right, so the opponent is going to send an attack through here. Now, how much mana do we have to work with here? If we play out the Hullbreaker, we're left with 1 mana, which doesn't do too much for us. So I think, again, we're going to do somewhat of the same sort of thing here where we play out the Urtai, and we're going to try to kill the Stomper and then block the adversary, and then hopefully just close the game out with the board state that we've been developing here. Yeah, I should have attacked that last turn. We would have had him down to 6 and we could have probably closed the game out, but Purveyor, that's fine. We'll bounce that back to their hand, make them have to replay that. Rebirth, that's a negate. That's a negate. All right, another Lore Master, not bad. Man, I played this last bit pretty bad here, unfortunately. All right, we're gonna play this out. Now we can't attack over the top, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to pass the turn, and we're just gonna have to try to look to close the game out here on my next attack through. Yeah, no attacks. That's a bummer. That's a bummer, man. Obviously the Purveyor would have been here regardless though, so it's not much we could have done about that. All right, so they're gonna look for a card here. That's fine. We're really gonna have to slow down our game here a little bit, because I do tend to play a little bit quicker, which can cost me pretty badly in a lot of cases. All right, so that's fine. We bounce back the Purveyor to their hand here. All right, do we do it in this fashion though? Do we play the Hullbreaker Horror and then throw down a Fairy Vandal? Because that could be interesting, but it also opens us up to a potential kill spell from the opponent. Yeah, not sure. Nice, they don't actually play anything. That works out. I'm sorry, they don't actually attack. I'm sorry, I thought they were going to attack. That's what I meant. All right, and then we'll bounce the Purveyor back to their hand. I thought for sure they'd play something there, so I'm really happy that they didn't. That makes things a lot easier. There's the game. GG's. All right. That worked out really nicely. All right, that was a little bit of a knocking the rust off, if you will, on that game. So we started out pretty strong, made some a little bit of errors here and there. This is a tough deck to play though, for sure. But on to the next one. All right, I like this thing so far. It's pretty awesome. We played a couple of games with it already in the play queue a little bit, bouncing some ideas around, and I'm telling you, this one feels great. This one feels really, really good. As long as I play it right, it's one of those decks that are a little bit harder to navigate, and so it might be above my pay grade of skill level, but you know what? At least the idea is there. What do we got? Opening hand, opponent goes first. I've got a couple of decent spells here, but nothing until pretty much later in the game. We're gonna give it a try, but this might be a bad idea to keep, but we'll see. Nice. We do find ourselves a Fairy Vandal on 2, which will help out a ton, honestly. All right, this looks like some sort of humans deck, I would imagine, like 5-color humans, if I had to take a guess, but hard to tell at the moment. Would love to find some counter spells, preferably essence captures. All right, that's fine. I think we're gonna do this. I don't want this thing getting them card advantage down the road, so I think that's a fine play right there. I think that's a fine play. Because that thing's pretty tricky. Once it creates value for them by conniving, it's just gonna get a card right underneath it, and then when it dies, they get that card back to their hand. So I'd rather kill it before they can get any sort of card advantage off of it. All right. 2-3 hitting me again. We're going down to 17. They gain a little bit more life. Nothing too scary at the moment as far as damage is concerned. I'm gonna go for the Fairy Vandal play though. Urtai, okay. I am gonna draw a card, so that's nice. Kind of a bummer though. I mean, the opponent is pretty annoying at the moment. I have my own Urtai, so I can actually flash that in, killing their Urtai and also blocking. So I've got some stuff I can do here. Oh yeah, that's fine. We allow it. We allow it. The opponent goes to attack, I would imagine. No attacks from the opponent. That's annoying. It's actually super annoying, but let's kill their Urtai. And oh, okay. Oh, what do we do here, guys? What do we do? I think it's Fairy Vandal. I think it's Fairy Vandal, and then potentially a Verona Vortex on something, but I don't know. I don't know. I like our hand. I just don't like that we missed a land drop there. That could have been pretty crucial. I just need to get, you know, to this Hullbreaker Horror as fast as I possibly can. All right, that's going to be okay for now. They're clearly like a legendary tribal. The card I'm really concerned about is Ratadrawbic. We have a Ratadrawbic deck ourselves. I don't know if we're playing it Monday or like, you know, if this video is coming out Monday, but we have a really cool Ratadrawbic deck ourselves that is in the works at the moment. Another Urtai, huh? Interesting. Yeah, we allow it. We allow it. I'm gonna go for card draw here. I'm hoping that we hit our land still. Nice. I was gonna say that was a little bit of a gamble for us there, but I liked it. Okay. So you're gone. And we passed the turn. Now we've got our spells back to normal. I didn't want to keep playing that taxing, you know, extra mana for that Thalia. That was really annoying. All right. See, the opponent doesn't. Doesn't do anything this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 mana. If I flash this in, well, if I block here. All right, if I block here, we obviously trade, and then they're gonna flash this in to basically cancel out my Fairy Vandal like they did last time, which I don't think is a terrible thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just do it. I need to make sure I'm protecting my life total here to the best of my ability because you know, they're being more aggressive than we are. We have the card advantage though. We're definitely winning the game in that sense. That's fine. All right, so Fairy Vandal's gonna come down, or at least try to, and then we're gonna get Urtide. It's gonna get countered. Okay, or not. Putting a stop here. That way we can kill the Shieldred. Kill the Shieldred before I take an extra bit of damage that I didn't need to take. So we got that. I'm sorry guys, I have allergies really bad, so just trying to survive right now. All right, so we got 3, 4, so we can't actually kick that, which is a bit of a bummer. Pass the turn. Gonna have to take a bit of a shot here. A bit of a shot. Urtai, is it coming down to kill my Fairy Vandal? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're so close to that that Hole Breaker, man. We're so close. Do we bounce one of these back to their hand and not take 4? That's a pretty big question we have here in front of us. I don't think we do. I think we say no blocks here. It is what it is. Urtai's still probably going to come in and kill Fairy Vandal though, but at least we get a card draw off of the top, so it might be worth it. There we go. That's a card right there. All right, we should be able to close the game out now. I would imagine we've got this in the bag at this point, but it all of course depends on their top deck. They could draw a card that allows them to draw a bunch of cards to refill their hand and get back into this game, but we'll see. We will see. Do we make a block here? I don't think so. This can't be countered, but it can be killed by this, so that's the thing, right? Ah, it's gonna get killed by that, isn't it? We kind of need them to get that Urtai out of their hand. Like, we need that Urtai to come out of their hand, man. I don't know. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, things are gonna get really tricky. I'm hoping they play that Urtai, but they're not going to. So we play the Hullbreaker Horror. Again, it can't be countered, so Urtai can't do anything about that. But once it resolves onto the battlefield, they're gonna just flash in their Urtai, killing it. It is what it is, though. If we can find... Oh, wow, they made the mistake. They made a mistake. Let's go. That's kind of huge. That's kind of huge. That's actually really huge. All right, that should be the game. That was a very crucial mistake by the opponent. There was no reason for them to you know, they should have allowed that to resolve and then killed it instead of going for the Fairy Vandal. So now we should be able to win the game. Pass the turn, and we'll look to Hullbreaker as well as a Rolling Vortex this next turn. We'll Vortex back what? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Everything's gonna go back to their hand. I don't want Urtai to go back to their hand though, because Urtai is an issue. There we go. That takes care of that, and we have 2 Hullbreaker Horrors down now. We make a block. See you later. And they do have 3 mana left over, though. I would imagine there's nothing in their hand that could take care of these Hullbreakers unless it's Infernal Grasp. I feel pretty confident right now. I don't like that we don't have an answer other than the gate, though, because we clearly see that they're going to be playing a creature out. There we go. That's much better. I can't attack into the Pilgrim just yet, so that's making things a little awkward. I do need to find some sort of removal spell here, so I'm going to pass the turn for now. We're going to look to just Fairy Vandal, bouncing these cards back to their hand, opening up the lane a little bit. What a weird game this turned out to be, huh? Very, very strange game. What are those last couple of cards they've been drawing into? Have they been decent? It's not bad. That's not bad. It does have Ward 2 as well, so that's kind of a bit of a bummer. All right, I would imagine they're going to send the attack through because it's got the Death Touch. We just flash this in, take care of that problem. See you later. See you later. All right, Drawbick, it's me and you. Oh, what a card. What a card. We hit that now for sure. For sure. We are going to have to pay the Ward 2, though, which could end up being pretty annoying. Pass on that. Pay the 2. Okay, I didn't expect that. This is kind of a greedy play, if I'm being honest, but I am going to play out the Lore Master because it could absolutely get us a ton of value down the road. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to send in the team. I don't imagine they have anything with haste. Even if they did, we do have Arona's Vortex to answer. So we'll be able to bounce back at least 3 permanents back to their hand this turn. The opponent's pretty toast at this point. We've got, we've come down to three life, but that Urtai play earlier made it really, really bad move, sending it in early. They should have, again, allowed the Hullbreaker Horror to resolve and then killed it, which would have put me in a horrible position, but because then their hexproof little hexproof land would have worked out for them, because I was only able to take advantage of the fact that, getting around it by playing a second spell and having a Hullbreaker on the field already. So yeah, I mean, they had this game, they just didn't play the perfect line, which, I mean, who am I to say anything about that, right? All right, my turn. So we got the Lore Master going now, we got the Fairy Vandal, and we got the Hullbreakers. This is game. Yeah, they see it as well. They knew that was a wrap. Feels bad, man. This deck is very good, though. I feel really, really confident with this thing. All right, we got to clean up a little bit of those play lines, but again, I'm really loving this deck. I really like how I always love playing instant speed cards, because playing on your opponent's turn is always just so advantageous, because you can kind of choose. It's almost, we're countering what the opponent's doing, as opposed to playing at our spells and then hoping, for the best case scenarios. We can kind of sit back, wait, see what they do, and then kind of make our decisions as we go. Opening hand here's, it's a little tricky. I don't think I can keep it. That's much better. All right, I do like that a lot better. Okay, let's keep it. Urtai probably gonna be the card that goes here. Glad we took a mulligan there. I almost kept that hand. This turns out to be so much better, though. We are against possibly mono black, which means Tenacious Underdog is the most likely scenario to come down this next turn, but we could get hit with like a potential cut down here. I don't think we're gonna get hit with a cut down. The opponents typically in mono black these days haven't been running too many cut downs. I don't get hit by Liliana, so I think we should be able to get through here. All right, so we're actually against another Dimir player. Interesting. Let's see what sort of Dimir player they are, though. Are they going to be a Reanimator deck? The Modern Age is a very unique card. Yeah, it is a Reanimator deck, and they throw away the Reanimator spell. Very strange. Very strange. Pretty good hand we have here. A lot of versatile spells, but mostly, though, answering creatures. Pretty much every card we have in hand answers creatures. I would love to see a negate come down here, just because, being able to counter the opponent's actual reanimation spell, the graveyard shift would be very good. And they're going to be playing it at instant speed, because they're going to be able to fill up their graveyard and then get this card able to be cast, as it, though, it has flash. All right, we're going to flash in our own Fairy Vandal here. Essence Scatter, not terrible, but not exactly what we're looking for. Would have much rather had that had been negated, or a negate. But again, sitting pretty good right now. Just kind of taking our time, beating the opponent down, almost like a tempo deck style. Just waiting to get, you know, the oh, okay, that's actually a very good Essence Scatter. Look at that. I did not expect the Zur to come down here. I didn't see any enchantments from the opponent just yet. Oh, I guess the Glider is an enchantment. What am I saying? What am I saying? Yeah, we're gonna take action here. I do want to hit another land drop. There we go. I was really debating on whether or not to take that extra card and then just playing out a second Lore Master here, but I did want to make sure I hit that extra land drop. Now we have a decision to make here. I think we're just going to attack in here. I could have cut this down, but I'm not willing to spend 3 mana for it. I want to make sure we had the Rona's Vortex ready to go. We'll hit this with the cut down on the opponent's turn here. Zur does not have the ability for hexproof for itself or any sort of ward, so I can hit that with cut down as well. All right, so the opponent's probably going to try to steal the... Okay, the Fairy Vandal. Didn't expect that. Can't use that on my own creature. I forgot. That's fine. That's fine. All right, little cut down action here for the Glider. Oh, okay. Take action. Hopefully a land. Nice. We get another land, which means that we're getting one step closer to the Hullbreaker Horror. If we play this out for 4, we're left with 2 mana. Not a whole lot we can do with that 2 mana. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass the turn here. I'm going to stick to these vortexes here because if our opponent does reanimate something here with the Graveyard Shift, I can just send whatever they reanimate back to the bottom of their deck, which is really, really good. Yep, there we go. See you later. Nice and easy. Just tempoing them out here. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Just beating them down slowly or surely. I mean, it is what it is. It's not ideal, but we are again getting very close to the Hullbreaker Horror. And once we get that out, it's going to be a wrap. Another Zur. We can handle it the exact same way we just handled the last one. That comes down as a creature. It's going to have the hexproof, right? So let's go ahead and send this back, and then we'll just hit it with the March. All right. No, we can hit for 3. All right, we'll hit this for 3, and we will send away. Oh, I could have done 4. What am I saying? All right, we get the Fairy Vandal back, and the Fairy Vandal is going to grow over time with these extra cards we're going to be drawing. We get another cut down. Get in for 4, and then we just try to look to close the game here. We'll end the turn here, and then we'll look to close the game. We got Thirst for Discoveries if we need, or we have a cut down for hopefully an answer, but unfortunately didn't find a land drop for the Hullbreaker Horror here to get that in to close out for sure, but hopefully the cut down will be enough. Yeah, they're hoping to block here with the 1/1. It's not going to be enough. We're going to go ahead and draw some cards here, and we're going to hit them with the cut down. And that'll do it. GG's. A very clean victory again. Again, kind of felt a little sloppy, but you know what? We got the job done. That's all that really matters, right? Just a tricky deck that, you know, we're playing a tricky one here. And as far as piloting decks go, not my strong suit, especially because we play new decks every day. But man, the build here is just fantastic, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. On to the next one. All right, I think we've got a real contender here on our hands, guys. I really do. Oh man, it's felt pretty easy so far, except for this. I mean, the second game was, it could have been really close had our opponent not made that mistake. But once the game plan's online and we're drawing all those extra cards, it just feels so simple to close out. But I'm gonna keep a hand here that may be a little problematic just because it's a bit slow, and then on top of that, Ooh, okay, it's mono blue maybe, so negates are looking pretty strong. But on top of that, not having a a creature to throw down on the turn 2 is a little unfortunate. Sorry, hard to narrate with my thoughts when my thoughts are all over the place. All right, the opponent's gonna hit us with the consider, I would imagine. Interesting. They had a 1-mana spell there they could have played. I would have imagined it would have been that, but all right, we passed the turn. Getting the okay, they did have to consider getting the Thirst for Discovery off at the right time is going to be the key to winning this game, because if we're against mono blue, which we clearly are, making sure we time our negates against their Thirst for Discovery and then making sure ours resolves is going to be the most important thing here, because card advantage is going to be how you're going to win this game. So we're going to sit on our Thirst for Discovery for right now and pass the turn here, just do our thing, looking for a counter against maybe their Jin. Man, I want to pull the trigger on the Thirst, but I just obviously know it's going to get countered. There's no way it's not, so we just hang on to it for now. That's a good card to find. I love the Fairy Vandal here, because if we can flash it in, hopefully that'll cause our opponent to pull the trigger on a counter spell. Do they want to pull the trigger? Let's find out. Hopefully they do, and hopefully it's a 3-mana spell. You know what? Do we counter that? Do we counter that and force another counter out of their hand? Probably. Let's do it. Let's try to force another counter spell out of their hand here. And then the Thirst for Discovery will be good. Oh, they go for their own Thirst. Okay. Fair enough. So they get their Thirst off, which it does kind of stink, but we do have a Fairy Vandal on the field. And our Thirst is definitely going to resolve, which feels great. Leaving us with a negate and an Essence Scatter. Both very good things. We don't hit a basic though. That's a bummer. All these are good cards, but I think the Cut Down is the least important card here. There's no need for us to have 3 mana as opposed to the 2, so we'll just drop our tap land now. Attack in for the 2. Say go. Tough matchup. You know, you want to talk about weird matchups. This is going to be one of those for sure, because it's so similar to what we're trying to do, but at the same time, it's also a very tough matchup with all the counters going on. All right, they Spell Pierce us. The Jin resolves. The good news is mono blue doesn't have the removal access that we have, right? So we're gonna have things like the Infernal Grasp, which will you know, allow us to remove their creature. They're not gonna have anything to actually kill our Fairy Vandal here. So I can kill this, which is probably the plan. I should probably kill it and then just attack through, but I'm really tempted to play this Hull Breaker Horror as well. I don't know. We kind of know the game plan on our opponent's side, right? Yeah, let's just play it safe. Let's play it safe. Let's kill this thing. I'll pay the 2. All right, you're gone. We attack for 2 here. We're 2 cards to 2 cards, except I will probably put my 2 cards up against any sort of 2-card combination they have, because I mean, the Hull Breaker alone should be good enough to close the game. The fact that it can't be countered is so good in the mirror matchup here. We're going to attack into our opponent here. We might get hit with like a Slip Out the Back or some sort of Fading Hope type of effect, I would imagine. They have some sort of interaction here, so it's holding priority. Fading Hope. They don't pull the trigger on it, which is actually pretty annoying, because now the Hull Breaker Horror becomes much less potent in my opinion, because if I throw down the Hull Breaker and it gets Fading Hope back to my hand, it's just not going to be good. So I'm going to try for the Thirst for Discovery and see what happens. We know they have a Fading Hope. Like, it's not, I mean, the fact that they may have another Slip Out the Back is highly unlikely, because we've already seen 3 of them. All right, if we force another counter out of their hand here, it could be solid. Okay, negate to the negate, which means we both get our thirsts off. Hopefully we find a land on ours so we can get some card advantage going here. We do. Still looking though for another land. That'd be really nice because would like to be able to play the Hull Breaker with something else, but unable to find it, so gonna have to just deal. Here comes the Fading Hope, I would imagine. If it does get Fading Hoped here, I'm gonna feel a lot better though, because that does mean Hull Breaker should resolve and stick for a little bit longer. But if they have the Fading Hope, that means they have 4 in the deck, which means the likelihood of them having multiple in hand right now is pretty high. Yeah, here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the game where it gets very, very much down to the wire. Let's see what they've got. Another Jin. I figured as much. I just need one of these not to be a Fading Hope, and we should be able to win this game. Fairly easily, actually. Even if it is a Fading Hope, though, I mean, we're not out of the, like, we're not dead in the water. Because if they Fading Hope this, at least with 1 card left over, and our March, and then our Vortex should be able to hit. Here we go. Moment of truth. Dude, the Hull Breaker is such a good card. It's so crazy how good it is. All right, let's try this and see if we can get it to stick. Slip out the back, huh? There we go. There we go. And we hit them for 7, and that will put them on the lethal clock. End our turn. And we're drawing extra cards now. The opponent, though, can take a huge advantage off of the Lore Master, though, because they're a very much a similar deck that we are, where they're trying to find value in instant speed spells. But I like our version of our deck a lot better than theirs. Let's actually just pass it. Yeah, let's just take a extra card. I don't think it's necessary because I am going to try everything I can to just kill this right now. So let's decline. And we're going to play everything right here and now. Let's go for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or, yeah, I can bounce it too. It's going to give us 2 shots at it. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. GG's. I was going to say, we can either... We might have just... Well, we might as well just played that March for 1, but just in case they had some way to get around, let's say, the effect of us bouncing them to their hand, the secondary for that would have been the March, but it would have been a slip out the back or a Fading Hope effect. So either way, we were fine. So yeah, that was pretty easy. It was a very tricky matchup. You kind of have to, again, I think this game really comes down to who's going to get the card advantage going. And us not having a Lore Master kind of scared me early, but it turned out to work out. But then again, the Lore Master again would have been pretty good for our opponent's use as well. So yeah, again, interesting matchup, man. That will conclude today's gameplay portion of the video. We are going to break this thing down now and talk about it, in more in depth. But before I do so, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's made it this far into the video. It means the absolute world to me that you've made it this far. So thank you so much. It helps with the YouTube algorithm when you stick around. So I do appreciate that. And with that being said, let's take a look at today's build. So of course, the build around here today, the Academy Lore Master. Sorry, I thought I read her name wrong at the beginning of the video and I was going to be so upset with myself, but I didn't. We're good. Anyways, Academy Lore Master, and it's a 2/3 creature that of course has the added benefit of drawing you a bunch of extra cards, but gives your opponent that same benefit. But of course, your opponent is never going to get as much value out of this card as you are, because every card in our deck is tailored to basically exploit that extra cost of being taxed at 2 mana. So we have all instant and flash cards here. A couple of these choices were very, very obvious to me as which cards I wanted to throw in here, but the win cons had to be a little bit more picky with. I went ahead and I chose the Fairy Vandal and the Hullbreaker Horror. Hullbreaker Horror, again, a little bit more obvious of a choice. It's such a big top end. It does so much for you, and it's really, really hard to beat once this thing's on the battlefield. It's almost impossible, let's be real. And then, of course, Fairy Vandal I thought was a great choice because these Lore Masters draw us an absurd amount of cards, man. If we can stack these with 2 on the battlefield, you're going to be drawing cards for days, and it's such the passive ability. We're not investing mana into it, so the Fairy Vandal obviously growing on our turn, and then on their turn we can flash in, you know, the Thirst of Discovery at instant speed for extra cards, growing them even further. So I thought that was a great choice. And then, of course, if we have to, we can win the game with Urtai as well, because it is a flash body that we can get into the game, and also just from there we can kind of tempo out the game by countering everything and removing everything on the opponent's side, just slowly beating him down for 3. So that's not a bad choice either. From there, the deck got, you know, pretty much to be a, you know, you pick, you choose on how you win the game, right? So it's based on whatever you're seeing there in the meta. You can throw extra cards in here that I didn't throw in here. You could throw in a little bit more of, you know, things like make disappear as opposed to the counter spells that I chose. There's a lot of options you can do. It's totally plug and play, so make this your own, but these are the cards that I chose. So I wanted to make sure I had removal on lockdown, so I had Infernal Grasp, Cut Down, and March. I think the most important card here, just because if we get into a matchup against, like, let's say mono red or something that gets us, you know, down low early, the March is a really good card to help us get back into the game with one big explosive life gain at the end, at the same time as removing something off the battlefield. Cut Down and the Infernal Grasp, both good choices right now. Honestly, I think they do a really good job of removing most of the field. But then we had to have something that could also take out planeswalkers in an efficient manner. So I went ahead and went with the Rona's Vortex. If you guys don't know, I'm really high on this card. This card is really cool. Being able to bounce tokens for 1 mana is good enough, but on top of that, you got the kicker cost of 3 additional mana. You can send something to the bottom of your opponent's library. This essentially acts as sometimes an exiling effect of some sorts, because if you kill, let's say, Tenacious Underdog, it can keep coming back for value. But if you send it to the bottom of your opponent's deck, that thing's gone for the most part, for good. And then also it hits planeswalkers, which is fantastic. And then again, like I said, I splashed in some negates, Essence Scatters, just to try to answer these problems before they get too serious. Negate obviously hitting planeswalkers as well, but also things like Invoke Despair, which is important. But talking about things you want to change in the deck, I don't mind if you want to add a couple of Invoke Despairs of your own. Something else I wanted to try that I should have thrown in the deck and I didn't. I don't know why, but I should have thrown a couple of Siphon Insights in this deck. I feel like Siphon Insight would be such a fun card here, and it would also get us some additional win cons potentially with our opponents, beating them down with their own cards essentially. But anyways, I digress. Again, this is a very much plug and play type of a deck. It's very easy to just build this, but then make it your own. You know, pick and choose the kill spells you want, the counter spells you want. It's very simple to just kind of take out what you don't like, add what you like. DIMIR offers a lot of great control cards in the meta, but the idea of getting the Lore Master down and then the Fairy Vandal and having the Hullbreaker over the top kind of is the, you know, that's the bones of the deck, and then from there you can kind of choose. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, man. I really do appreciate you watching all the way through. It means the world to me. Before I get out of here and end the video, though, as always, there's going to be a huge shout out going out to the Mardu Mob. If you guys don't know, the Mardu Mob is the membership program here on the channel. So these people here on the screen help support the channel through their monthly memberships, and I got to give them a huge shout out and let them know how much I appreciate them every single video, because it means the world to me that you guys are willing to support the channel the way you do. So thank you so much. And I do appreciate that. But with that being said, guys, happy Monday. On to the next video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one. Until then, peace out.
Hit him 3 times like a hat trick. The name is Fizzy, no Patrick. If you play him, then it's tragic. Hit him with the mythic, yeah, that's magic. Yeah, MTG, that's what you'll see if you like and subscribe. When's the upload, man? Man, all of the time. Coming with the best decks, this is the meta. This ain't cheap.